Hey y'all, Father Jim Haney from St. Paul's in the Plains in Lubbock. I'm here in the Goodnight Cemetery in Goodnight, Texas, with the most famous person buried in the cemetery, Charles Goodnight, the legendary cattleman, born in 1836, just a few days before the fall of the Alamo, died in 1929. Inventor of the chuck wagon, blazer of the Goodnight Loving Trail, fictionalized in the classic book and movie Lonesome Dove, Charlie Goodnight. But I'm here because not only is Charlie Goodnight a legendary figure in Texas history in our region, I also knew somebody who had met him. There's that game about degrees of separation of Kevin Bacon. You can connect any two actors in Hollywood through Kevin Bacon if you go far enough. But the idea behind that mathematically is that if there's a chain of 6 people, if you have a friend and they know somebody and they've met somebody and they've met somebody, if you go through the right chain, you're able to connect to anybody in the world in 6 jumps, 6 friends, 6 degrees of separation. Well, I'm only 2 degrees of separation away from Charlie Goodnight, because when Charlie was an old man in the 1920s, he was interviewed by a young guy wanting to be a newspaper reporter, and in fact, the kid was trying to get a job with the Amarillo Globe-News, and they turned him away. He heard that Charlie Goodnight was in town. He went and knocked on his door, got an interview, went back with interview in hand, and got hired by the Globe-News. Later he went to Childress, Texas, bought his own newspaper, and edited that for 60 years. And there in Childress, I met him, and he was my very first funeral, Morris Higley. And so I'm only 2 degrees of separation from Charlie Goodnight. I buried Morris, and Morris interviewed Charlie Goodnight. By the way, Morris's granddaughter is Deacon Paige Higley from St. Stephen's and All Saints. Some of y'all may know her. In the Christian life, none of us comes to God by ourselves. We have a chain of connection. We, in the Episcopal Church, keep track of the bishops. We talk about our apostolic succession. I know the bishop who ordained me, Sam Holsey, and I can look up and see who the people were who ordained him, and I can look up in turn and see who the people were that ordained them, and back we go through the chain all the way back to the apostles, which is a pretty cool thought, a pretty cool idea. But that goes for all of us. None of us came to Christianity alone. We all have people that were important to us who taught us the faith, and we're connected back through them as well. And if you really think about it, we're really only 2 degrees of separation from any Christian, because we know Jesus Christ. We are part of his body. And by connecting to God, connecting to Jesus, we are connected. If they're the hub, we are the spokes, and we're connected to all the Christians, living and dead, who are connected to them. And so that's a pretty wonderful thought. And so on All Saints, we celebrate those who have gone before us. On All Saints, I often remember Morris Higley and think about him interviewing Charlie Goodnight. By the way, he was also the last living man who had interviewed Will Rogers, which is pretty cool too. So I'm only 2 degrees away from Will Rogers as well. So with that thought, wish you a happy All Saints Day this coming week, and God bless. Have a great day.